We're about to have an abortion referendum in Ireland, where the very right to life, the very existence of the human being as a person, can be taken away, and on present measure will be taken away unless we can somehow scramble together a majority to protect the right to be alive. And if you think it's going to stop with the unborn child, you're kidding yourselves. Because the globalists have two answers. You know, leaving aside the morality of the right to life of the unborn child, let's just look at the practicalities. The fact that we are a dwindling population. The fact that there are less of us in each generation than there was in the generation before. Let us look at it in just that sense alone. The national existence as a people and the assault that abortion represents to that. Is if we don't have a right to life before we are born, although we are human beings, the globalists have already decided that they are going to solve the pension problem. And you know how they're going to solve the pension problem. They're going to solve it by a mix of two things. They're going to try and solve it by a mix of two things, but it's going to come down to one thing in the end. They're going to try to solve it by bringing in immigrants in huge numbers to engage in population replacement. The problem with that is, and it's almost impossible to get a left-winger to understand this, is the immigrants who are not going to pay taxes to keep you in an old folks' home. I don't care how young you are now. Some of you are there going, well, I'm not going to be in an old folks' home. Well, you better start having some children, because they're the only people who are going to keep you out of it. And if you go there, they're the only people who are going to keep you alive when you're in it. Because the second solution that they have for the population crisis, the demographic crisis, is since there is no right to life at the beginning, there is no right to life at the end. They are not going to support us in old folks' homes when we reach the end of our economic utility. That's the whole purpose of humanity from a globalist point of view. Economic utility. Are you a producer and a consumer? And when you either aren't a consumer or a producer, which you are not as an unborn child, and if you are not a consumer or a producer, which you are not when you are too old to work, and which you are too old to contribute, and which you do not have enough money left to consume, you cease to be an economic unit, and then you cease to have any economic value. And since that's the only value that they understand, that's the only value that will matter.